record. So good morning, namaste to each of you. Thank you for joining me this morning to honor your mind and your body and your spirit. So let's just take a few moments to become present. Find a nice, comfortable seated position where your back and spine and back of your neck is nice and long and straight. Diaphragm is open. Allow breathing to flow nice and easily. Your heart's open. And let's just close our eyes and soften our thoughts. Soften our eyes. Soften our shoulders. And soften our heart. Observe your breath as it is, soft and gentle, breathing life into you with each inhale and relaxation with each exhale. Feel the grace of being present, returning to that awareness again and again. You may open your eyes now. For this morning's intention, you may think of a positive word or phrase to have with you on your mat and perhaps carry with you throughout the day, off the mat and throughout the day. This morning's intention, let's look at the third Yama and its guideline of how to interact with the world. Asteya is Sanskrit for non-stealing. So we all know what stealing is. I mean, we brought up the Christian faith. It's one of the 10 commandments. It's basically taking something that doesn't necessarily belong to you. But if you look deeper, stealing comes from a feeling of lacking. If you feel like you're lacking something in your life, you try to fill it. And it could be with possessions or thoughts or actions, but it's that feeling of lacking that spurs on that motivation to steal. The Yama, Asteya, non-stealing, is all about the opposite. Its intention is to come from a feeling of abundance, that we are enough, that we have enough. So by living our life through the filter of Asteya, we can uncover the abundance that exists in our life and break the cycle of looking at what we lack. So there's an ancient Chinese philosopher, Lao Tzu, and that's Lao and Tzu. And he has a lot of wonderful quotes. This one is, be content with what you have, rejoice in the way things are. When you realize there is nothing lacking, the whole world belongs to you. So for our pranayama this morning, our breathing technique, we're going to do one that is a breath retention. It's called Antara Kumbhaka. Antara Kumbhaka. Kumbhaka is the breath retention. Antara is retaining it on the inhale. So what we're going to do is just have our natural Dirja or three-part breath, where it starts with our stomach, comes up through our ribs and up to our chest, that full complete breath, and exhaling deeply so it just flows away from our chest, flows away from our ribs, it flows away from our stomach. So we're going to employ that breathing. And then when we reach the top of our inhale, just pause. Don't hold it, just pause. And hopefully that'll give you a feeling in your lungs and in your chest and in your heart of being full. So let's just experiment with that a little bit now. And you can pause for as long as is comfortable for you, and just keep that nice flow going. Really focus on that pause, that feeling of being full. And let's just do one more. Inhale, pause, exhale. And for our meditation this morning, the mudra I'd like to share with you is Pushpaputa. Wait a minute, I have to take a running leap into this. Pushpaputa. There we go. Pushpaputa. Pushpaputa. And it means handful of flowers. And it makes one receptive and accepting with gratitude what the universe has to offer. So Pushpaputa is having your hands open, bringing your pinkies together, and just having that handful of flowers, imaginary flowers there. And you can have the pinkies connected and placing your arms on your lap, or I've seen it where people have just their hands open, pinkies are facing one another, but they're each hand is on each knee and relaxed, and the thumbs are pointing outward. So you can either join the fingers together or separate them, but having them look to one another. So you, in essence, you have a huge handful of flowers if they're separated. So let's just take a few moments to meditate with the Pushpaputa mudra, or your own favorite mudra. And if you'd like to continue practicing the pranayama that we were just doing, the Antara Kumbhaka, please do that, and I'll meet you on the mat. You may open your eyes now. Continue in your nice, comfortable seated position with your spine, back of your neck nice and long. We'll start with some shoulder shrugs. On a cold day like today, we're gonna warm up slowly, so not to aggravate anything inside, just kind of gently warming yourself up. So inhaling, lifting your shoulders up toward your ears, and then bringing your shoulder blades close together around your back, dropping your shoulders down, then easing them forward and coming back up toward your ears. Sometimes if you roll your hands on your legs, it helps with that circular motion. So inhaling, lifting your shoulders up toward your ears, and then exhaling as you release them down toward the mat. Deep inhale, deep exhale, deep inhale, deep exhale. And then let's reverse the direction. And if you feel any tension building, just relax your shoulders. This is to be a relaxing exercise, not a tension building exercise. Alrighty, and let's bring our hands to the mat, our fingertips to the mat alongside of us, and we'll do some sun breaths. Sitting in the sun, that makes sense for me. So inhale, deep, raising your arms up overhead, and exhale, bringing your hands back down. Inhale, bringing your hands up. And just pause for a moment. And then bring your hands down. Whatever length of pause that's comfortable for you. Inhale, bringing your hands up. Pause. And bring your hands down. Inhale, bringing your hands up. Feel that fullness, that abundance that your life is. Inhale one last time, up. Pause. And then exhale down. Bring our feet into a cobbler's pose. Back is nice and straight. Chest is open. Shoulders are rolled back. You can grab around your toes or around your ankles. And we'll just sit here and let gravity take over for our legs. But in the meantime, we'll just do some head exercises too. So nodding up and down in the yes formation. So looking down toward the mat, and then inhale, lift up, reaching your eyes toward the sky. And then exhale, bringing your chin back down toward your chest, your eyes gazing down to the mat. Inhale, lifting your eyes up to the sky. Exhale, bringing your eyes back down. Inhale, lifting your eyes to the sky. And then exhale, bringing your chin back to your chest, your eyes gazing down. Bring your head back to center, and then we'll just nod nose for a bit. So turning your head to the left, gently, very slowly. Inhale, come back to center. And I think actually we should inhale Yes, as we turn to the right, then exhale back to center. Inhale, turning your head to the left. Exhale back to center. Inhale to the right. Exhale back to center. And one last time on each side. Inhale to the left. Exhale back to center. And inhale to the right. And back to center. We're going to take our right leg and extend it out at a diagonal, bringing our left foot toward our pelvis. And then we're going to actually take our right hand and bring it over to our left knee and turn to the left, bringing our left hand behind our back, close to our hips, so that helps to elongate the back. Take a couple deep breaths here. And then turn back to center, come back to cobbler's pose, and then extend the left leg out at a diagonal, bringing your right foot in toward your pelvis. Bring your left hand to your right knee, turning to the right, bringing your right hand behind your hips. Take a couple deep breaths here. And then come back to center. Make our way up to tabletop. Come up on your hands and knees. And we'll come into tabletop where our knees are right below our hips. Hands are right below, your wrists are right below your shoulders. Fingers are spread out wide on the mat. And the weight of your arms should be into the fingertips, kind of pushing down into the fingertips. And pushing down into the mat so that you create a space between your shoulder and your ears. And just feel in your hands an equal distribution of weight between both hands and between both knees. Navel's tucked to your spine, creating a nice flat back. Then we're going to exhale, rounding our back, dropping our head and our pelvis down for cat. Nice deep stretch. Ooh, that feels good. And then lifting our head and our pelvis up for cow, looking straight ahead. And then bring our head and our pelvis back down for cat. Inhale, bringing our head and pelvis up, staring straight ahead for cow. And then just continue on for a few more moments, slowly synchronizing your breath to your movements. And when you're ready, come back to a neutral spine, tabletop. Bring your knees together so that they're touching right below your hips. And again, check in your hands that you have an equal distribution of weight. And you're pushing down gently so that you create that space between your shoulders and your ears. Then we're going to lift our right leg and extend it to the back of the mat and place our toes down on the mat, just straight back. And then we're going to lift up our leg and point our toes. And then bring that foot back down to the mat so that's on your toes. Inhale, lift up, pointing your toes. Exhale, bringing it back down, and try to keep that equal distribution of weight. Your hips parallel to the mat. Inhale, lift the foot up, pointing the toes, and then come back down. And then lift, pointing your toes. And this time we're going to raise our left arm up. So going into bird dog. So inhale, toes are pointed. Exhale, flex your toes. Inhale, point. Exhale, flex. Inhale, point. Exhale, flex. Inhale, point. Exhale, flex. Inhale, point. Exhale, flex, and bring everything back down to the mat. And we'll do that on the other side. So again, reassess your hands if your weight's equally distributed in them. Send your left leg back, toes are on the mat. Inhale, lift up, pointing your toes. And again, try to keep hips parallel to the mat. And then bring that foot back down. Inhale, lift your foot, pointing your toe. Exhale, bring that back down. Inhale, lift your foot up, pointing your toe. And this time we're going to raise our right arm up. And inhale, point our toe. Exhale, flex. Inhale, point. 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 Exhale, flex, and bring everything back down. So we're going to come into child's pose by lowering our hips toward our ankles, extending our arms out in front of us. Just feel nice, the nice stretch of our spine. Take a few deep breaths here. And then inhale, come back up, but come to a kneeling position so that your hips are still on your ankles. Again, you can have it so that your tops of your feet are flat on the mat, or you can curl your toes under, or you can come up onto your knees, maybe placing a blanket underneath. We're just going to be here for a moment or two. And bring your hands around behind your hips and interlace your hands, rolling your shoulders back. Just really loosen your shoulders up and roll them back. And this is a yoga lock, and we'll just extend your hands away from your hips. On the inhale, extend away. Exhale, bring them back to your hips. Inhale, extend. Exhale, back to your hips. Inhale, extend away. Exhale, bring them back. Inhale, extend away. Exhale, bring them back. And one last time. Inhale, extend away. Exhale, bringing them back. Come back to tabletop. Tuck your toes under if you haven't done it already. We'll walk our hands back into a squat. So you're on the balls of your toes, and then push down to lift up, coming up into mountain. We'll do our mountain essentials for good posture. Feet are about hip width apart. Toes are pointing to the long edge, straight edge of your mat, or not the long edge, but the straight edge of your mat. We're going to lift our toes up off the mat, spread them apart as far as you can go, and then bring them back down to the mat. keep that spread as much as you can and lift your heels up off the mat. And then bring your heels back down. Legs are nice and strong. Gentle bend in your knees. Navel's tucked to your spine. Spine is nice and straight and long. Shoulders are relaxed and rolled back. Crown of your head is reaching up to the sky. Chin's tucked back just ever so slightly for good posture. We're going to inhale, sweeping our hands up over our head. Big inhale, exhale, deeply bending your knees, bringing your hands down to the ground, down to the mat. And just check in here for a moment. See how your body's doing today. Feeling any tension. Send a nourishing, kind breath to that tension. See if you can ease it up a little bit. And then inhale, bringing your hands up to your shins, flattening out your back, keeping your gaze down. We're going to actually slide our hands all the way up our legs to the top of the thighs. Your elbows are tucking close to your ribs and kind of pointing back like chicken feathers, opening up your chest and your heart. And then slide your hands back down, forward fold, and then sweeping your hands from the mat all the way up overhead. And then rising up on our toes, we'll come into palm tree and just sway here for a moment. Want to close your eyes, that'll challenge you as well. But if you close your eyes, envision yourself on a beach with the palm tree swaying nearby. And then lower our heels, sweeping our hands back down to the mat, bending our knees generously back to forward fold. Inhale, bring our hands up to our shins, flatten out our back. Exhale, bring our hands down to the mat, crown of our head down toward the floor. And then sweep our hands from the mat all the way up overhead, bringing them together above our head, palms are together. Then we're going to drop our right hand to our right thigh and slide that hand down toward our right knee. Supported side stretch. Then inhale, bring our hand back up and bring the left hand down, slide it down toward your knee. And then bring that hand back up. One more time for each side. Bring your right hand down, sliding it down toward your knee. And then inhale, come back up. And exhale, bring your hand, left hand to your left thigh and slide that down toward your knee. And then come back up. And forward fold, bending deeply at the knees, bringing your hands down to the floor, to the mat. Then bring your hands to your shins, flattening out your back for half forward fold. Gaze is sending down. And then the top of your head lowers toward the mat. And then sweep your hands from the floor all the way up overhead. Bring your palms together and bring your palms to heart center, Anjali Mudra. I'm going to do a few leg lifts here. So we're going to start with our left foot grounded in the mat and lifting up our right leg so that it's at a 90-degree angle. And then we're just going to point our toe, kind of send it out in front of us, pointing it. You don't have to kick it, you just kind of, with control, send it out in front of you. A few times. We're trying to gain our balance here, really hone in on how we feel balance-wise today. And then bring your foot to your shin for tree pose. And we'll only do the shin, or if you want to do your toe on the mat with your ankle on, your heel on your ankle rather, you could do that. But that's as far as we need to go with the tree pose today. And just hone in, maybe look at it, find a drishti in your room that you can feel like you're becoming more still. Okay, and then we'll do that on the other side, putting your right foot down on the mat, feeling your right foot nice and secure in the mat. You bring your hands to heart center. Your hips are parallel with the edge of the mat. And then bring your left leg up to a right angle. And then just point your toes, sending your foot ahead. Just kind of with control, pushing it out and then bringing it back in. Pushing it out, bringing it back in. Pushing it out, bringing it back in. One more time, out, bringing it back in. And then place that foot on your right shin into tree pose. And just really focus on becoming still. There's no wind out this morning, so the trees were nice and still. But trees do wobble in the wind, so whatever you're doing right now is terrific. And then bring that left foot down to the mat. Oh, we have one more. All right, so sweeping our hands up overhead. Exhale, forward fold, bringing our hands down to the mat. Deep bend in your knees. Inhale, bring your hands to your shins. Flatten out your back for half forward fold. And exhale, bringing the crown of your head down toward the mat. And then sweeping our hands from the mat all the way up overhead. Hands come together, palms come to heart center. And then we're going to take our palms and place it on the back of our hips. Feet are hip width apart. Fingertips are pointing down. Shoulders are relaxed and rolled back. Chin is tucked toward the chest. And then we're going to just gently send our shoulders back, keeping our chin tucked to our chest. Don't want our head to drop back. And take a few deep breaths here. And inhale, coming back up. Great. So, everyone okay? And inhale, bring our arms up overhead. Exhale, bringing our hands down to the mat, bending our knees. We're going to step both feet back, downward dog. And just walk out your dog for a little bit here. Your fingers are spread wide apart. Arms are straight. Chest is reaching toward your thighs, which sends your hips up to the sky. Knees are bent, or you could be pedaling. And then inhale, bring our right knee to our right elbow, pushing off with our left toes. And then back to downward dog. Pedal out. Inhale, bringing our right knee to our right elbow, pushing off with our left toes. And then back to downward dog. And then inhale, we're going to bring our right foot between our hands. So inhale, bring that foot so that it's framed by your hands. You can guide it there any way that works for you. So then we're going to bring our left knee down to the mat. Top of our left foot comes down to the mat. And we're going to straighten out our front leg. And as we straighten out, we're going to keep our ribs close to the thigh or on the thigh. And bring our head down toward the knee for half monkey. And inhale, bringing our knee back up. So that's at a right angle. So the knee's right over the ankle. And then we're going to try that again. So we're going to straighten out our front leg, riding it down. You don't put too much pressure on it. You can support your upper body with your hands. And you want to try to bring your head down toward your knee. Then inhale, come back up. So the knee's over your ankle. And one last time, straighten out your front leg. Coming into half monkey. Bringing your head down toward your knee. It's also kind of a modified pyramid pose. And then come back up. We're going to bring our left toes up so they're back into runner's lunge. And then bring our right foot to the back of the mat and come into plank. Plank, our wrists are right below our shoulders. Fingers, again, are spread out on the mat. Navel's tucked to the spine, elevating your hips slightly. Heels are pushing to the back of the mat, pushing down and back, energizing your legs. And then we're going to come down to the mat, either chaturanga or knees, chest, chin. So your knees come down first, then your chest, then your chin. And either way, you keep your elbows tucked toward your ribs. And so come down slowly. And then we bring our hands alongside our thighs with the palms facing up. Chin is resting on the mat. And we're going to lift our right leg up, pointing our toes for half locust. And then bring that down. And then lift our left leg up for half locust, pointing the toes. And bring that down. And then we're going to lift both legs and both arms up for full locust. Lifting our chin off the mat. And then come back down. You bring your hands right below your shoulders. Elbows are tucked toward your ribs. Gently push down, coming up into cobra. And then keep pushing. So you come up to tabletop and then down to child's pose. And take a few deep breaths here. Inhale, come back up to tabletop. Tuck your toes under and come into downward dog. And we'll do that same thing on the other side. So pedal out here for a few moments. Again, your fingers are supporting most of your weight, not your wrists. Arms are nice and straight. Chest is reaching toward your thighs, sending your hips up to the sky. Then inhale, bring your left knee to your left elbow, pushing off with your right toes. And then back to downward dog. Pedal out. And inhale, knee to elbow. And then back to downward dog. And then this last one, we're going to bring our left foot between our hands on the inhale. So deeply inhale, lift your left foot up, bring it to the front of the mat, framing it with your hands. And then lower your right knee to the mat, and the top of your right foot to the mat. And we'll do the half monkey on this side. So again, we're going to straighten out our front leg, riding it down, bringing our head toward our knee. And then inhale, come back up. So our knees right over our ankle. Pause for a moment. And then straighten out our front leg again. Riding it down, bringing our head toward our knee. And then come back up again. Pause, breathe. And then one last time, straightening out the front leg, riding it down, bringing our head down toward the knee. And then come back up. Tuck our right toes under, come back up to runner's lunge. And then bring our left foot to the back of the mat, coming into plank pose. And gently lower to the mat, either knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga, keeping your elbows tucked to the side. And then bringing your hands along the side of your thighs, palms facing up. Your chin is resting gently on the mat. We'll do a half locust, raising our right leg up. And then lowering it back down. Inhale, lift the left leg up. And then lower it back down. And then a big inhale, lifting both legs and both arms up. Head comes off the mat. Gaze is sent forward. Full locust. And then come back down. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders. And gently push down, keeping your elbows toward your ribs. Come up into cobra. And then up to tabletop, and then down to child's pose. Then inhale, come back up. Tuck your toes under, coming into downward dog. And then just slowly walk your feet up toward your hands, coming into a forward fold. And then inhale, sweeping your hands from the mat all the way up overhead. Palms come together, palms come to heart center. We're going to, let's see, just judging on the time. I think we can do this. So we're gonna reach our palms up overhead and then bring them back down to the mat. Back, extend your right foot to the back of the mat for runner's lunge. Placing your right hand on the mat. Sweep your left hand all the way up to the sky, to the ceiling, sending your gaze up with your hand if that's comfortable. And then bring your hand back down to the mat. And we're going to come up into high lunge. So if you feel a little wobbly, you can pivot your back foot and come up using the warrior one technique. Or if you feel comfortable to try it, keep your Back foot on the balls of your feet. You can come up in two sections, one coming up to your knee, and then the other part coming up with your hands overhead, keeping your front knee bent over your ankle. And then swing your hands back so that your arms are flying. Just stay here for a moment. And then bring those hands down to the mat. Bring your right foot up to your left foot, forward fold, and then come up from the mat, bringing your hands up overhead. Palms come together, palms come to heart center. And then this, for you people who are out skiing, you're gonna like this. Was exercise that I used to watch on TV in Gilad, and I love this exercise, and it's a great cross-country skiing exercise. So it's going to actually work into our next pose, but we're going to bend our knees, coming down, lowering our hips down to the mat, and bringing our hands out front. So we're basically in chair pose. And then we're going to push down on our feet, bringing our hands back and sending our right foot back so that we land on the ball of our right foot. So this is kind of a cross-country push. So again, bring your hands back, bring your feet together, come back down into chair pose. And then we'll do it with the other foot, bringing your hands, swing your hands to the back, send your foot to the back so you land on the ball of your foot. Then sweep your hands forward, come down to chair pose, and then send your foot and arms back. Come forward, hands forward, chair pose. Send your left foot back, arms back. And you catch onto this, and you can go at your own pace. We'll do this for a few moments. And then we're going to end with our right foot on the mat and our left toes behind us and our arms behind us. So join me in this position. And then we're going to come into a warrior three, but more of an airplane pose. So keeping our front knee bent, that's critical. We're going to hinge at the hips, lifting our left foot up, keeping our arms to the side like we're flying. And then bring everything back down. Well done. So inhale, deep inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Coming back down to the mat, we're going to send our right, let's see, what did I do? Our left foot back. I think, no, right foot back. The opposite foot of what you had. No, I think it was the right foot back. How soon they forget. Then sweeping your right hand all the way up to the sky. And then bring that right hand back down. And we're going to come into the high lunge again. So you can do that with two steps, or you can use the warrior one if you feel a little wobbly with that. So come up to high lunge, bringing your arms up overhead. And then sweep your arms back so that you're flying. Really lean into your front foot. And then bring your hands back down to the mat. Bring your left foot up to meet your right foot. Forward fold. Then sweep your hands from the mat all the way up overhead. Palms come together, palms come to heart center. And then we'll do that Gilad cross-country ski exercise again. So again, we're going to come our arms out front, hips come down toward our ankles, coming into a chair pose. And then we're going to bring our hands back as we extend our right foot back on the toes. Swing your arms front, come into chair pose. Swing them back, extending the left foot back. And then keep going for a few moments. Get that cross-country feel going. All right, and then when you're ready, land where your right foot's back. Your left knee is bent. Arms are back. Pivot at your waist, lifting your right foot up. Come into airplane or modified warrior 3. And then come down. Bring our toes out to the edges of the mat. Pinky toes are touching the edge. Heels are tucked in at 45 degrees. Hands come to heart center. And we're going to lower our hips down to the mat, coming into a wide-legged squat. So send your knees out. Torso comes between your legs. Elbows resting on the insides of your knees. And if you'd like a little bit more stretch, you can take your Anjali Mudra hands and bring them down toward the mat, which will push your elbows against your knees. And then bring our seat to the mat. We're going to roll back on our back, so you can either go down to the mat one vertebrae at a time or use the express. I think I'm going to use express today. Just tucking my knees quickly up to my chest. And then bringing your knees to your chest, give them a nice gentle hug. We're going to rock back and forth, giving your lower back a nice massage. And then taking your toes, create nice big circles with your legs. Continue that massage. And then you can reverse the direction of your circles. And then bring your feet down to the mat, bringing your pinkies, toes out to the edges of the mat again. So your knees are really wide apart. We're going to do some windshield wipers. We're going to include our arms in this. So extend your arms out at shoulder height. And then we're going to drop our knees to the right side. We're going to keep our right hand so the palm is facing down, but our left hand is the palm will be facing up. And we're going to send our gaze over to the left palm. Then inhale, bring your knees back to center, and then drop them over to the left side. We're going to flip our hands so that they're in the opposite direction. Left palm down, right palm up, and then gently turn our head to look at our right palm that's open. Kind of a Pushpaputa opening of our hands, with a handful of flowers. So inhale, bringing our knees back up. We can pause here. And then exhale, drop them to the right side. Flipping our hands and gently turning our head to the left. Our left palm is open, our right palm is facing down. And then inhale, bring our knees back to center, drop them to the left, flipping our hands, gently rolling our head to the right. Inhale, come back up. Pause, lower to the right, flip our hands and roll our head to the left. Inhale, bring our knees up. Exhale, drop them to the left, roll our hands, or flip our hands and then roll our head to the right. Inhale, bring our knees back to center. Hug our knees to our chest one more time. And then send our feet down to the end of the mat and prepare for Shavasana. And Shavasana is a pose. You bring your heels to the corner edges of the mat. Let your feet flop open. Bring your arms diagonally away from your torso with your palms facing up. And then just relax. Release all your muscles and your bones into the mat. Let the universe catch you and support you. So for this morning's poem, there is a subtle Asteya in this poem, and I encourage you to try to see where it is and feel its meaning. So the Asteya is the feeling of abundance as opposed to stealing, which has a feeling of lack. It's titled, I Worried by Mary Oliver. I worried a lot. Will the garden grow? Will the rivers flow in the right direction? Will the earth turn as it was taught? And if not, how shall I correct it? Was I right? Was I wrong? Will I be forgiven? Can I do better? Will I ever be able to sing? Even the sparrows can do it, and I am, well, hopeless. Is my eyesight fading, or am I just imagining it? Am I going to get rheumatism, lockjaw, dementia? Finally, I saw that worrying had come to nothing, and I gave it up and took my old body and went out into the morning and sang.